of the drivers favor prohibition of the use of a cell phone in a moving vehicle, a practice which has proven to be equal or to exceed the accident probability of a drunk driver. Would you support such a prohibition within the city limits?
It's a very interesting question, in that, well, it's a very interesting question for a number of reasons, but much of my professional career I've done mergers and acquisitions work for telecommunications companies, and if I say yes, I will probably get fired. I will probably nonetheless say to give a soft yes, but the question is much more simple than the problem, and it's really like the homeless problem. You know, homeless people don't know where the city limits of Fort Lauderdale are, and they really don't care. And drivers on 95 don't know where the Fort Lauderdale city limits are, and they don't care. It's not really practical, and it's not going to be as effective if we want it to be for Fort Lauderdale just to go out on a limb and say, you can't do this practice. Yes, it's unsafe. Yes, I do it, and yes, probably everyone in this room does, but it's still unsafe. But if this is a real problem that the citizens of our city have identified, what the city commission needs to do is not go off on a lark and say, we're going to ban that and we're done with it. It doesn't make anybody in this room any safer. What we need to do is say, Commissioner Rodstrom, we would like Broward County to look at doing this. We need to work with the county. Maybe we even need to work with both Palm Beach and Miami-Dade. But we need to think of ourselves as part of a much larger community. We're not going to solve this problem or the homeless problem or so many of these other problems by just passing our own legislation and saying it's fixed, because it's not. And you're still going to get hit on Federal Highway or I-95 or some other road in the city by someone who's on their cell phone. So yes, now that I'm unemployed, I would absolutely, I think that it's probably a good idea, but in the context of working with other counties, other cities.
I think this is something that ought to be addressed at the state level. You can't have people going from Fort Lauderdale to Pompano wondering whether they can use their phone or not use their phone. Quite frankly, our court system now, and I work in our court system every day, I was a prosecutor for 12 years, we can't handle any more ticket things or any more small-time offenses. We've got to keep these courthouses open for the serious crimes so that people who are out there killing us and raping us and robbing us are put away. And when you start putting emphasis on people using cell phones or petty crimes, it takes away from the resources that we have that we really need to protect us. So let's let the state government, the people in Tallahassee, decide whether or not this is something that ought to be addressed. We here in Fort Lauderdale have to address very serious crime issues, because if we're not safe, then nobody's going to want to come to live here. Nobody's going to want to pay our taxes. Nobody's going to want to come and open their businesses here. And if we don't do something to bring businesses and bring residents back who want to live here and want to provide, then we are going to become stagnant, and we're not going to be the community that we all know that we can be.
Well, I didn't anticipate this one. I will say that I personally make it a practice just not to receive phone calls or initiate any while I'm driving. I just simply call people back and tell them I was busy driving. I'm usually drinking coffee and driving, and I can't multitask that. I'll concentrate on my coffee and not worry about the other part of it. I think Jim has a good point. I think that on the state level it might be something that could be looked at, but to even eliminate that even more, at least on a regional level, the three-county level, there may be areas of the state that are rural enough that this isn't that don't have the congestion that we have, that doesn't create the problematic situation that this creates for us. So it might be done on a three-county basis or a state basis, but I think that probably it's a good idea not to initiate or take cell phone calls. Hey, when I had my old analog phone that was planted in my car, I pressed a button and I got a speakerphone. So what's so terrible about that? I speak analog anyway.
What a way to end. Just a second. You can't legislate common sense. I don't think we need to pass a law for everything. But I do think that government can be involved in education. think that's very important. Take, for example, the Just Say No to Drugs campaign. That's probably one of the most effective public education campaigns we've had in the last 10 years, and it's really made a difference. Well, we can do the same thing with educating people on cell phones. I mean, that's part of the problem we have in society, and you get more crowded and you got more problems, so you need to have more education. So, no, I don't think we need another law.
Thank you very much.